Give them a shot to do what?
I love you.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are better than ever talking Chicago Cubs baseball only on Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Shy Kid. I mean, happy opening week. Really, it's official. Everybody's played in their home ballpark now. Everybody's back in the bleachers. The bleacher bums are in full effect. We are in there like swimwear. But make sure, before we get into anything, before we start this conversation, make sure you're in tune. Make sure you're involved with everything Give Us a Shot Network, because shout out to Germ today. I mean, just putting the network on his back, going live, talking about Stephon Diggs getting traded to the Houston Texans. I mean, I have no words yet. I haven't even like mentally said anything to myself about that. The first word I guess that comes to mind is Super Bowl ? You know what I mean? Like, that's Daniil Hunter, CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs. Like, it's crazy. You got the coach of the year. Like, there's so many different ways this can go. But I'm just super excited to break this down. Let's start our conversation for the day. The Chicago Cubs are on a 3-game winning streak. They told us it couldn't be done. They told us the season was over. We started 0-2 to the defending World Series champs after Justin Steele goes down. Yeah, you know, it happens. We lose in a walk-off in game 1. We get obliterated in game 2. Game 3 on Easter Sunday, he is risen. The Chicago Cubs are back. I mean, we have risen. We're back. We're back, and we're better than ever. 3 days, 3 games. We on a 3-game win streak. I know I didn't just make a Jesus pun, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. But you know, I'm just so pumped, man. I'm just so pumped to see this team fight. I'm so pumped to see them get after it. You take one from the Rangers to avoid the sweep. Obviously, right now, you know, they're 1-2 against them, but you know, you'll take what you can get it from the defending champs, when especially when we're short-staffed after losing Steele. But you know, we win that final game, 9-5. Solid day for Jordan Wicks. Solid day for the Chicago Cubs offense. Yesterday, or the other day, I should say, opening day. Let me set the scene. It's opening day. You know, everybody's at Wrigley Field. For the first time in MLB history, a rookie starting pitcher is making his MLB debut on opening day at Wrigley Field for the Chicago Cubs. Shota Imanaga. Let me tell you a little something about Shota Imanaga. I want to get this out there. No one talks about how Shota Imanaga's PR team is probably one of one in the entire world of baseball. You look at Ipe and what's going on for Shohei Ohtani. You look at what that's been like. Let's talk about Shota Imanaga. He gets signed to the Chicago Cubs this offseason, 30-year-old lefty out of Japan. He's a world-renowned name in Japan, a household name. He comes in, he starts his entire Cubs introductory press conference with, "Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today." Then they asked him, whoa, why are you wearing number 18? "Oh, I want to pay homage to World Series MVP, 2016 World Series champion, the man who broke the 108-year curse, the GOAT buster, Ben Zobrist." Whoa, that's pretty cool. Then he comes out, and what song of choice does he use? Chicago Blackhawks own Chelsea Dagger. I mean, it's a song played at every single Blackhawks game since I was a kid. I mean, it's his PR team is without a doubt one of one, hands down. Like it's absolutely incredible to see him invested in the city of Chicago, how much he loves the city of Chicago. It's just a blast. And then he goes out there over 5 no-hit innings, pitches 6 innings. And the man is insane with 9 Ks. I walked around Wrigley Field. Give us a shot was there. We were talking to fans over under 7 Ks on the day. A lot of people said under just because of the weather, and he's a rookie, and it's his first game. The man had 9 Ks in 6 innings. Let's get into some numbers real quick though. Out of those 6 innings, out of those 9 Ks, throwing a no-hitter for as long as he was. Charlie Blackmon obviously broke it up. We had 56 four-seam fastballs, 24 sliders, 10 sweepers, and 2 curveballs. Now, he still has a couple other pitches. Obviously, his changeup is still involved in that as well. But, what we saw from him was very fastball heavy. And we saw that against the Oakland A's, which is why I took the over on 7 Ks on the day, because we saw him do the same exact thing. He's going to beat you with his fastball if you're a average to subpar offense. What I'm worried about, I will say, is this. Very heavily leaning on that fastball, and I see sometimes it's a high shelf fastball. So if you play against the Rangers or the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Braves, I would question after the second go around in the order, are they going to start catching up to that? So moving forward, the game plan against the Rockies was great. Beat them with your speed, go after it. They're not hitting water if they fell off the damn Titanic. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things though where I want to continue to see the sweeper get involved, continue to see more curveball, more slide action. Just balls that move. Balls that move. I think that's really the big thing there. He's got great stuff. Shota Imanaga won the hearts of Chicago Cubs fans on opening day. They get the dub. We were there. Oh man, really quick. I know it's only Cubs fans in here right now, but let's talk about my day. My day was crazy. And if you're on TikTok right now, make sure you hit that follow button on the shy.kid because we got some viral videos, over 300,000 views on our interaction with Ronald Acuna Jr. I started the day at Wrigley Field, interviewing fans. We're having a blast. We're at Sluggers, we're at Murphy's, we're everywhere. Walking around, got a few innings in, got to see Morel and Shota and the boys do their thing for a little bit. Then I said, all right, I got to bounce. I ran straight over to 35th and Shields to the Chicago White Sox game. And then after that, we know I want this to be said. It's Cubs till I die hard forever. But the reason I was at the Sox game is because I love 2 things in this world: seeing the Chicago White Sox lose and seeing Ronald Acuna Jr. do what he does. MVP. I mean, 50-40 man. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to see Ronald. $7 tickets. I'm sitting right behind home plate because it starts pouring rain. Ronald Acuna Jr. is shivering. He's in the box. I go, Ronald, man, how you feeling? He goes, I cannot play like this. And it was just so dope. It was so dope. We got that interaction. It's going viral right now. Definitely check that video out if you haven't already. But shout out to Ronald, by the way, too. You're in Chicago at the White Sox, of all places. Venezuelan fans rolled deep. They were there for him. And he was signing autographs in the dugout, even though it's pouring rain. I mean, what a stand-up guy. Amazing individual. Can't speak more highly on him. You know what I mean? He's just a great cat. But man, back to the Cubs, because last night we were at the game, and it was a dinger derby. A dinger derby. I'm talking like the wind was blowing, wind was howling, it was cold, there was a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain, it was a little mix of everything. Garrett Cooper had himself a day. A double, a triple, and a home run. Nick Madrigal had himself a day. 2 hits in the day. I mean, and then you look at Seiya Suzuki blasting an over 400-foot home run. Cody Bellinger, we were in there. I was in right field. Cody. I go crazy. I mean, it was, there's no words for it. Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, Christopher Morel with the shot, big home run, and Garrett Cooper. I mean, it was one for the books, for sure. And no lie, I can't lie to you. I love seeing Chris Bryant. You know, we're always going to give him his love. We're always going to be grateful. But you just can't help but just feel bad for the guy. You know what I mean? Like, he even said vocally how much he wished he would have just kind of waited out the whole free agency process, but Scott Boras is his client, so of course, he's trying to rush everything, trying to get that money. Um, but to know in my heart that there is a likely chance Chris Bryant never wins a playoff game again, it just kind of hurts. You know what I mean? The Rockies are just, they got some guys. My boy Chase Dolander's over there. GBO, go Big Orange, go Volunteers. But it's like at the end of the day, I just can't trust them to put a winning product on the board. But the Cubs were great, man. They were absolutely phenomenal. We're on a 3-game win streak, winning this game 5-0 last night. We're going to be there tonight at 6:30, interviewing fans with my boy Miles Porter. We're going to have an absolute blast. It's going to be a great time. So make sure if you're out there and you want to say hey to us, come say hey, give us a shot. Come say what's up. We do not bite. We have a great time all the time. Last night the Cubs win 12-2. 12-2. And like even just looking at that, it's crazy how quickly just things happen. This wasn't like runs on the board every single inning. This was like guys just absolutely knocking out the ball. Hudson says, "Where will you be?" Hudson, I will likely be in right field, right to center field. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna get in the debate what's better, right field or left field. Um, but yeah, I'll say tonight I'm in right field. Yesterday I was in right field. I like right field. Will say. So yeah, Hudson, if you're there, give us a shot. Come say what's up. Please feel free. Promise you, man, I'm not one of those. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those cats you just can't approach. Like I'm very approachable. If you want to hang out, you want to talk ball a little bit, completely cool. Please, I open welcome it. It's all love all the time, especially when we're at Wrigley Field. It's a dope time though. It's a dope time to be a Cubs fan. It's a dope time to be around. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see what we're going to be able to do this summer, the things we're going to be able to accomplish. This team, I have said for a while, last season it felt like this was a 2015 vibe. It felt like we were right there, right on the doorstep, but we weren't quite kicking down the door yet. Bringing in Shota Imanaga, bringing up Ben Brown, bringing up all these other guys, it's definitely a conversation starter to where by the end of this season, if someone like Pete Crow Armstrong or Owen Casey find their way to the friendly confines, Alexander Canario, guys like that, you know what I mean? If they can find their way up here, I think you have a real conversation about this team not only winning a playoff game, but winning a series. I'm talking this team has NLCS expectations. And I'm not just saying that because we beat the Rockies. You know what I mean? It's not, but the way this team moves, Craig Counsell understanding, hey, listen, Ian Happ, as critical as Mike Hughes has been on him, is solid against righties. We're going to have him lead off against righties. We're going to have Nico Horner lead off against lefties. I like that. It's not the worst thing in the world. My only like pushback on that is like Ian's a switch hitter, and you understand like, well, brother, you should be better against lefties and righties. You know what I mean? But again, I digress. A lot of people right now, when we evaluate Ian Happ, well, he gets on base. That's all that matters. He gets on base. That's all that matters. But like when you look at true leadoffs in this game, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, people can say what they want. Guys can have their little podcasts and try to be cute and think they're geniuses. Like, oh, I figured it out. I figured it out. You know what I mean? Like, praise me. Like, but at the end of the day, bro, like, you can't look at me and say that the Cubs have a long-term solution at the leadoff spot. I never felt that way. When Dexter Fowler was here, I felt that way. When Mike Talkman was here last year, he's still here now. But when he was leading off last year, I was kind of like, this is cool, Palatine Pounder, that's awesome. But it just doesn't scream to me lead off. Ian Happ, yeah, he gets on base a lot, but Ian also Ks a lot. You know what I mean? Ian also is one of those guys that, come 6th, 8th inning, leading off in the 6th or the 7th or the 5th or whenever it may be, he's not as great that second go around. Starts off the game pretty well, though. But I will say this. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited to see Ian Happ continue to have success because that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, bro, no, bro, it's not happening. Yeah, no. Ian Happ's not that guy. No, I would never say it. You know what I mean? Like, I want Ian to have success. My only problem is there's a lot of inconsistency. So I'm excited to see him continue to have success. He went 4 for 5, I believe, on Easter. No, believe that was on Easter. It wasn't opening day, I think. Andres, how we feeling, brother? I appreciate you for tuning into the live. Definitely go check out Andres. He does amazing stuff over there, man. Amazing stuff. A great voice to listen to. And yeah, I actually have the game on right now. We're watching the Iowa Cubs. They were down 3-0. They're climbing back. Owen Casey having a day. It's a big day. It's a big day in Cubs baseball. And I'm gonna tell you this. I've worked in minor league baseball for quite some time. I've worked in college baseball for some time. Um, if you really want to get an idea of who the Chicago Cubs are, go watch their AAA games. Go watch the Myrtle Beach Cubs. Go watch the South Bend Cubs. Because the guys you're going to see down there are going to be pillars and going to be the faces of the franchise when we build our championship caliber roster. Like the guys up north now, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Christopher Morel, Seiya Suzuki, Justin Steele, Cody Bellinger, Shota Imanaga. That's cool. Dogs, without a doubt. But I'll tell you this. You pay attention to Matt Shaw, Owen Casey, Cade Horton, Ben Brown, who Ben's on the roster now. There's a lot of cats that you could go watch and say, when these guys come up, BJ Murray, these guys are going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. So I'm excited, man. I'm pumped. But listen, when we go live, we have these conversations. Really quick, let me plug this in real quick. I just noticed it wasn't so unprofessional. But yeah, so my big thing right now, when we talk about what we want to see from the Cubs moving forward, I think the real conversation for me is you have to figure out what you're doing with Ben. Ben Brown, who we've had on the pod before, great guy, amazing person, works his tail off. I mean, an absolute dog. Here's my problem. Luke Little is filling in for Justin Steele tonight. Now, I don't know if that's a matchup thing or that's going to be the majority of April where Luke Little is the one coming out. But my problem is Ben Brown is a starting pitcher. He is a top 100 prospect in baseball. He is a top 10 prospect in the Cubs system. And you have him coming out of the bullpen. You're wasting his time. Like, continue to develop him in AAA. Continue to do what you need to do with him. Like, the big thing for me is, like, why is he here? Why do you have him here right now, just sitting on the bench like you did with Alexander Canario in September last year, not even playing him after he hits a grand slam? It doesn't make sense. How many innings is Little gonna go? Little to none. No, I'm kidding. I would say against the Rockies, I could see him going anywhere from 4 to 6. I think 4 to 6 is a good spot for him because I look at what the Cubs have been able to do, and yeah, they have a lot of success, and they're in this situation to where it's like, okay, they're gonna be solid. But one thing I don't like is, like, here's my thing, right? Here's my whole point I want to make. Luke Little closed the game last night for the Chicago Cubs. Less than 24 hours ago, Luke Little went on the mound and he closed out the 12-2 win against the Colorado Rockies for the Cubs. And then 24 hours later, he's starting against the Colorado Rockies. Like, I don't like that. Hey, sure, you only pitched one inning, but like your preparation for the day is going to be different. Your arm is going to be worn down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be at full capacity. Javier Assad, ass man, had a day. You know what I mean? He was great. What, 4 hits, 5 Ks, something like that? He had himself a day. He was on. But, like, I just felt like we didn't necessarily need Luke Little to be in the game. Give the man a breather. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. It does, like, I don't know. And my big thing is always development. I've coached high school ball. Like, I've played at a decent level, nothing crazy, nothing professional, but, like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'll tell you what, I know more about the game than I can play the game. And a lot of people can say the same. You know what I mean? Not everybody can just knock out 30 home runs a year at the collegiate level. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's just not in the cards for everyone. But if you need a couple bags, sure, I got you. But man, it's just like Craig Counsell knows what he's doing. I think he definitely does. But my big thing right now for me is what David Ross did to PCA. And you know what? Let me not even throw that at David. Let me throw that at Jed. Because Theo Epstein did the same shit. Theo Epstein, in my opinion, rushed Ian Happ because Dexter Fowler left. Jorge Soler left. A bunch of other Matt Scherzer left. Everybody else left. So you got to fill that void. Offensively, Almora just wasn't that guy. They needed Happer. You rush Adbert. You honestly rushed Nico. Nico worked out, but like you kind of rushed Nico. Like guys do not spend that much time in the Cubs system. PCA, he skips college. He's freshly 21 years old. Not even 21 at this time. He flies through single A, double A, triple A. He's there in AAA for like 5 minutes, and then you bring him to September. He goes 0 for 10, then bats 190, 160 in spring training. And it's like, oh yeah, now I guess we have to start him in AAA. Yeah, no duh. Like he skipped college. Not everybody's Jackson Holiday. Alexander Canario. Oh, he hits a grand slam in September call-ups. Woo! He spent the majority of 2023 injured. I didn't even think he should have been in that position. Like, to be real. So, like, and now you're doing this with Ben, where it's like Ben is a top-tier prospect for the starting pitching of the Chicago Cubs next to Cade Horton. And it's like, you bring him up, and here's how it goes down. He's in Iowa or wherever he is. You call him, hey, we need you to be in Texas tonight. Flies to Texas that same day. Then you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, I know you're a starting pitcher. And if you actually know ball, if you actually have been a part of an organization before, you know the preparation a pitcher goes through every day. There are sequences, there are events, there are certain things they need to do and eat before these games that they have like just in their brain. Like, this is what I do before game days. This is what I do before starts. And instead, you have him come out the bullpen, has a great first inning. You throw him in through the second inning, horrible. Christopher Morel can't help him. Dansby Swanson can't help him. Guys can't make plays. And then you end up at 6 runs deep. And now you're going to tell me that you're starting Luke Little instead of Ben against a crappy Rockies team. This would be a huge season or a huge game series for Ben Brown. If Ben Brown looked horrible against the reigning champs, which, makes sense. So did Kyle Hendricks. Not that deep. Not that serious. But if he looked great against the Rockies, we talked about it with Shota Imanaga. Shota Imanaga is going to give up home runs. Shota Imanaga is going to give up runs in general. That's what he does. High in Ks, high in runs. The earned run K ratio is not great. But when he goes up against average to subpar teams, those are the games you're going to be like, yo, he is one of the best pitchers in the game. When he goes up against the Braves or the Phillies or the LA Dodgers, whatever. But it's like, and Omar made a comment here, young kid players still need to learn being the MLB big leagues too, without a doubt. Like, let the kids play. We need to see them up here as soon as possible. But I want to throw you this. Omar, I appreciate that comment. Appreciate you being here. My big thing is you need to be ready for that moment. You have to put your kids, these are your products, these are your sons. You need to put them in situations where they are going to have success. Flying Ben Brown out across the country, halfway across the country from Iowa to Texas, throwing him in against the World Series defending champs in an already blowout was a bad call. And now sitting him and having him come out of the bullpen when he could be in Iowa actually as a starting pitcher, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to why you're doing that, why you're making these decisions. Like, again, if Ben Brown was starting tonight, I'd have nothing to say. But Luke Little's starting tonight, and he pitched last night. So, like, Ben hasn't pitched since, what, the 29th or the 30th? Something like that? Like, I don't... What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, you have to, at the end of the day, understand that sometimes you just got to be patient. Somebody said, Hudson says, do you know anything about Ed Howard? Because I don't know. Let me tell you something about Ed, man. Ed Howard is a dog, a Chicago dog, not the baseball team. Like, I've seen Ed Howard play in person growing up in Chicago. I saw him play against Lane Tech. I saw him play against a bunch of teams. Now, I never played against him personally. I saw him play against my boy Joe with the Warriors. And, like, locally, if you know, you know. And you know one thing is true. Ed Howard was a huge Sox fan, which was unfortunate. But the thing about Ed is, defensively, I think Ed has figured out and he's very comfortable at the level he's at. Offensively has been Ed's biggest problem. Um, yeah. Thomas is killing it too. But that's my big thing is like I think at the end of the day, the way you have to look at it with Ed Howard is it's all gonna come in time. And it might not. You know what I mean? It might work, it might not. Remember Christopher, what's his name? What's his name? Somebody help me. Franklin. Um, he used to be our top shortstop prospect. Kid was like 17. They thought he was going to be the number one prospect in the Cubs system. The next Derek Jeter. I haven't seen the kid, hit above his weight in a minute. Um, and yeah, Ed Howard has been going through some injuries, and there's a lot that goes into it. And there's guys in front of him. You know what I mean? There's the James Triantoses, there's the BJ Murrays, there's the Matt Shaws. Like, there's a lot of guys that are just top tier at their position. And then you look at the majors, and it's like Nick Madrigal and Christopher Morel. Like, it'll be hard for Ed Howard or any of those guys to really fight for that spot. Um, yeah, I completely agree, Andres. I completely agree. Andres, we have to have you on the show sometime very soon. I'm gonna shoot you a message after this. Would love to talk ball with you, brother. But I think at the end of the day, bro, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Even guys like Matt Mervis, you know what I mean? Like, love Merv. Merv's been on the pod before with us, and he's broken down like what the game's been like for him. But and oh my God, I'm so happy I said that. Let's talk about Matt. Like, we look at how we handled Matt. Matt Mervis goes undrafted. He's with the Nationals. Now he's with the Cubs. He's coming out of Duke. And he goes from single A, double A, triple A majors in a span of 6 months. 6 months, he's in the majors. And then the craziest part about it is you're starting Trey Mancini and Eric Hosmer over him, only give the kid 100 at bats in the middle of May. And it's like, why? One, why are you rushing his development? Two, why are you surprised he can't hit at a consistent level? Because he's not used to it. Like, you got Mancini in front of him. What are we even doing? It just doesn't make sense to me, like, why we're rushing so many young prospects. And credit to Jed, and credit to Theo. Amazing at putting a roster together, but they're not patient. If you want to wait for Cody Bellinger, they're very patient. Very patient. They will wait as long as they have to sign a free agent, for sure. But like, when you look at it for what it is, and you talk about the prospects that they've kind of just thrown out there, like, I felt like Jordan Wicks came up a little early. I felt like Merv and PCA and Canario and now Ben Brown. We even look at Ian Happ and Nico Horner. Like, these guys were coming up. Yeah, but if you're ready, you're ready, and that's great. But if you're not, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Andres says Cubs front office is waiting for the farm system to be ready at the same time to bring them up, but that's not how it works. 100%. We got lucky in 2016. That happens to be, but it's rare that it does. Yeah, and I think there's levels to it. Like, I remember the first time Javier Baez came up. He looked, at first it was like a lot of fun. And then very quickly it was like, this kid's swinging at everything. This kid's defense is awful. He went back down. He comes back up around the end of 2015, 2016. And you really see a different Javi, a patient Javi, a Javi who's disciplined. His defense is polished. And it's like, okay, El Mago, here we go. And then obviously Javi went back to his old ways later on. But that's one of those things where it's like, sometimes it's okay to go back down. PCA came down, and in the 5th inning, he hits a triple in his first game back in Des Moines, Iowa. Like, Owen Casey's absolutely raking right now, 3 runs today. Matt Mervis has been great since he went back down. But it's like, what good is it? Here's where I'm at. Play them and let them be horrible at the major league level, or just send them down and let them play every single day. Don't have them sit on the bench. These are not guys you want on your bench. Having Ben Brown come out of the bullpen can not only, 1, mess up his development, but 2, hinder him from continuing to grow. Hindering him from being who he can be. Like, I heard some people say Alexander Canario should be on the opening day roster. DH him. Miles Mastrobuoni, Nick Madrigal, why? Garrett Cooper. Ugh. Brother, this kid has the potential to be a cornerstone player in our outfield, cornerstone player on the roster. You're not going to DH him when you know who he can continue to be at the major league level. Aiden says the fall of Chris Bryant and Baez needs to be studied. Yeah, it's Aiden. I mean, especially Chris. Chris is like Javi, I understand, but like here's the thing with Javi, and it's no disrespect. 2016 forever. I'm grateful for him. The MVP run in 2018 was beautiful. Still feel like he was robbed by Christian Yelich. But you know, Javi, you knew who he was, and you knew that mentally the plate discipline and the vision just wasn't ever there. He's going to be a defensive wizard. He's going to be the magician. He's going to be El Mago. But, Javi, it is what it is. Chris, you're one of the hottest players in all of baseball, in college baseball, and you come in, what, number 2 overall pick, something like that? I forget, top 3 pick. No, yeah, you went number 2 because the Astros took 1, and the kid they took is like a lawyer now. He's not even he's not even in the league. You come here, you win Rookie of the Year, you win MVP the next year in a World Series, you break the 108-year curse, and then like just that was it. And it's crazy. Like 2017, he had a decent year. I think he was batting like 280 that year. Then after that, just shoulder injuries and the derailment there. But it's like, it's been 8 years. You would imagine you'd recover from those injuries at some point. So I don't know. And yeah, I do agree. A lot of comments. Owen Casey to me is the guy. And I've kind of always felt that way. The only question I had was defensively where he was going to be. Um, I've been very vocal about, Ian Happ. And maybe I'm not the biggest fan of Happer, but I also don't think Happer's been put in the best situation to have success under David Ross and Joe Madden. But under Craig Counsell, I think they're giving him opportunities to have consistent success and consistent at-bats at the leadoff spot. But my big thing is this. Owen Casey's coming and he's coming fast. And if it came down to it, Owen Casey or Ian Happ, I would move on from Ian Happ. I believe in Owen Casey that much. But listen, guys, we're going to get back to you. Make sure you follow us on TikTok at theshy.kid. Make sure you check out the Give Us a Shot Network. Give Us a Shot Network is on all social media platforms. You can give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow, share this out to other Cubs fans. Or if you don't want to talk Cubs and you just want to listen to sports in general, we're talking March Madness, WNBA, NBA, NHL, NFL, everything around the sun. We have amazing people who work here. We have Germ, Michael Powers, Corey, Burt, the Protect Our Queens individuals. So many great cats on this network. They talk so many different things, so many different versions of just storylines that you hear all day long, but nobody tells a story like we do over here. So definitely check out the Give Us a Shot Network. Definitely check me out every single day. Chicago Cubs content. We'll be interviewing fans in the bleachers today. Check out those videos if you haven't already on Instagram and TikTok at theshy.kid. Until then, I'll check you guys out later. This is Mike Hughes from theshy.kid. Peace.